Hi guys, this is Tiny Little Whispers ASMR. I've got another true crime case for you today, and I hope you enjoy. Some of you may have heard about this case already, but I hope it is still interesting for you nonetheless. So I have my computer here, and it is going to be at the bottom of the screen. So if I look off screen, that is why. So the case we will be exploring today is that of Charles Bothuell V. So in the year 2014, Charles Bothuell V was 12 years old. He lived in Detroit, Michigan, with his father, who was named Charles Bothuell IV, and his stepmom named Monique Dillard Bothuell. So I do realize that having two people in the same story with the same name can be a bit difficult. So I do plan on calling the father Charles and the 12-year-old son Charlie from here on out. And whenever I reference the dad, I will try to say the father or something along those lines. So, on June 16th in the year 2014, Charles Bothuell IV, who was the father, filed a missing persons report for his son Charlie. He said that Charlie could not be found and had gone missing. Charles, the dad, had received a text from his wife earlier in the day, and this was Charlie's stepmom, so keep that in mind. But Monique, the stepmom, said she was unable to find Charlie. The dad assumed that Charlie had run away from home. Charlie had run away from home once before in his life, so the father assumed that the same thing had happened here. The previous time when Charlie had run away, he was located within a few hours, and I was unable to determine if Charlie just came back home or if he was found by family members still attempting to run away. And around this age, a lot of kids do start to run away from home, 10 is the age where kids become aware of more of the outside world, and they don't have as many fears. So running away at that age is not as scary, say for like a 4-year-old who probably won't want to be away from their mother. Charlie's father began knocking on doors in the neighborhood to see if he could find Charlie at another house, but neighbor after neighbor reported that they had not seen Charlie. The police immediately began searching for little Charlie, and they even brought dogs to the family's house, and the family lived in a town home. The police searched the townhouse and they were unable to find anything related to Charlie's disappearance. So the police began to believe that Charlie did, in fact, run away from home, just like his father and stepmom had stated. At this point, the police began to expand their search for Charlie outside of the town home. The police were not able to find any signs of Charlie in the surrounding areas either, and no signs of foul play. It was almost as if Charlie had just vanished for no reason. On June 17th, the police hit the ground running. This was the day after Charlie disappeared. The police began to ask for the public's help. The police had already spoken to the surrounding neighbors, but they began to put Charlie's photo on the news in hopes that someone had seen him running away from home. Some tips began to pour in, but there were no concrete tips that led to Charlie. The police then began to get extremely concerned that something bad had happened to little Charlie. At this point, the police asked for Charlie's father and stepmom to take a polygraph test. The stepmother refused to take a polygraph, but Charlie's father agreed to take a polygraph with the FBI. It is stated that his polygraph results came back as inconclusive. Charlie's stepmom said that she was worried the results could be skewed, and she did not like the way the police treated her or her family, so that is why she refused to take the test. to look into the phone records of Charlie's father and stepmom. According to the police, it appeared that Charlie's dad and stepmom were wanting to send him off to boarding school. They claimed that they had some difficulties raising him and that little Charlie lacked discipline. So 11 days after Charlie disappeared, Charlie's father went on Nancy Grace, which, if you haven't heard, is a popular TV show. And he went on Nancy Grace to try to get out the word about little Charlie's disappearance. While on the air during a live taping, Nancy Grace found out and announced to Charlie's dad and everyone watching that reports were coming in that little Charlie had been found in the basement of his own home. So, if you are curious to see this, there is a clip on YouTube of Nancy Grace announcing that little Charlie had been found, and you can see Charlie's father's immediate reaction to the news. It appeared to take a minute for the news to sink in for Charles Bothuell IV. He did not immediately appear excited or ecstatic that his son had been found. He seemed mainly to look confused, in my personal opinion, but I would highly suggest you watching the video for yourself and coming to your own conclusion on how you thought Charlie's father handled the news. Charlie's father seemed to act a little fishy. And personally, if I had just found out that my child was found, I would probably run off camera or attempt to get a hold of them immediately. But Charlie's father just sat there. He claimed that he did not realize his son was in the basement of his home, and he claimed that both the police and the FBI had searched their home several times, and even several times with dogs. On this day, when Charlie was found, the police had brought dogs in again, and they found Charlie in the basement, hidden behind a makeshift barricade. According to the police, where Charlie was found, there was bedding and food down in his hiding place, so it seemed as though little Charlie was being cared for. The police also stated that they did not believe little Charlie would be able to place himself inside the makeshift barricade, and that chances are an adult had to put him in there. After they got Charlie out, they began to question him and ask what had happened. Charlie stated that his stepmother told him to go into the basement and stay there. He also told police that he was abused by his father and his stepmom, and that he was required to complete a grueling workout routine each and every morning. I read what the workout routine was, and it was something insane, like 1,000 push-ups and 1,000 sit-ups, something that I don't even think I would be able to complete. But Charlie was supposed to complete this intense workout within an hour's time period. If he did not finish, Charlie was required to start again until he could finish it within the hour time frame. Charlie claimed that his father and stepmom were trying to instill discipline in him. The police came up with a few different ideas, and one of those was that Charlie may not have been in the basement the whole entire time, since police had searched before and did not find Charlie. They thought there was a possibility that he had been moved at some point in time. Another belief was that Charlie did in fact run away from the abuse he suffered from his dad and stepmom, and that he was potentially found by them or just returned home since he was so young and did not know how to survive, and that he was told as punishment to go to the basement, which would explain why he was not found on the first initial search of the home. Charlie's dad and stepmom claimed that they always had issues raising Charlie, and that he concocted the whole story of being abused on his own so that he could go to live with his biological mother. So quite a bit of time passed, and in April of 2015, Charlie's dad and stepmom were arrested and charged. His dad took a plea deal and was sentenced to 18 months of probation. This was because the torture and abuse could not officially be confirmed by the court, and it could not be proven. So Charlie's dad did lose custody of Charlie, and Charlie went to live with his mother. Charlie's stepmom also accepted a plea deal in her case, but the details were not made public for her. So that is all the information we have on little Charlie Bothuell, who went missing. I'm very grateful that he was found, but there are several ways that this could have gone down. It is very possible that Charlie ran away from home due to the abuse and returned back where his stepmom placed him in the basement, and his dad just had no idea he was down there. Or he could have been placed in the basement on purpose for punishment, but I'm a bit uncertain about why his father would have reported him as missing unless he really thought that his son was missing. The only other thing would be like if someone else noticed he was missing and they were threatening to go to the police at that time. I did watch some interviews with his father, and it just seems a little off for some reason. Like I said, you guys can definitely check out that video on YouTube of his live interview with Nancy Grace. But I watched another video even, and the father really seemed into discipline and hard work and wanting to set his son up for success. And so there's always the possibility that the whole situation was fabricated in order to get media attention. I'm sure most of you guys heard about the family that thought their son had climbed into, I think it was a weather balloon, and had floated away. But it turns out it was all just a hoax. So that could also be the case here, that it was a hoax or a ruse. I'm not sure what the long-term payoff would be by doing something like that, but there is that possibility because some of the actions seen by Charlie's family do seem a bit contrived and not authentic, just some of their emotions. So yeah, that is all the information I have on today's case. Like I said, I'm thankful that little Charlie was found generally unharmed and that he is now living a life with his mother. And I hope he is having a wonderful life. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a nice